Hello and welcome to the Bestseller Experiment, the first in an occasional series that we're calling the Academy All-Stars. We're talking to folks who signed up to our Bestseller Academy and looking at something extraordinary they've achieved. And I'm delighted to be speaking to J.W. Atkinson today, who is a teacher out there in Toronto, but also a writer and a member of our Academy. Josh, how are you today, sir? I
am fantastic and so excited to be here.
Excellent. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Now, we're talking about doing something extraordinary. For your Patreon, you've been doing something called 52 for 2020. Tell us about this, sir.
Yeah, so I guess it all started back November. Sage on the BXP group had said that she just finished the Furious Fiction Challenge. And so I had some fun with that, and I was looking to engage my Patreon on a more regular basis. And so I had this crazy idea that I was toying with of publishing 500-word stories every week. And then you guys asked for public declarations in December, I think. And so I threw my hat in the ring, and it was set.
Wow. So you're writing a 500-word short story every week in 2020, and you're still sane and talking to me now. So how's that worked out?
So most of them are 500 words. There's been 5 or 6 of them that are 5,000. And I've also written some longer short stories in there for various competitions and anthologies. And it's been a challenge. It really has been a challenge, especially with COVID coming in. Like, I had just started working ahead because working week to week was like stressing me out a lot. And then we got locked down, and I kind of spiraled out. And thankfully I had a month of stories ready to go there. And
right.
By the time I had kind of settled in, the stories were running out, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And my wife stood over me and she was like, no, you're going to sit there and you're going to write a story, and we're not doing anything else until you get it done. And thankfully she did, because I got the stories out and kind of settled into more of a flow as the year went on.
Fantastic. There's lots to talk about there. So what's been your daily routine? Because we talk about this a lot on the podcast, the 200 word a day challenge, this thing of getting into a routine that gives you that kind of momentum. Obviously lockdown kind of helped, but we've had times this year where you've been working as a teacher. You've got a family, you've got children. How are you finding the time of day to write? What's the ideal time for you? Or is that proving to be a problem?
It was a problem during lockdown, like when we were all home. Because I was writing, I'd go into work a little bit earlier and write beforehand. And so without going into work, the kids are up before we are, running around the house. So I didn't have a lot of writing time available. So, it was just kind of cramming it in here and there. And since going back to work, though, and really focusing on the 200 word challenge, I sit in my car in the parking lot for 35 minutes before I get into work and bang out usually around 400 or 500 words in the 35 minutes. And so the rest of my day, I try and take a little bits here and there. Again, just trying to look at the 200 words a day, not too much time, just getting words on a page.
So you're writing in your car.
Yep.
Is this, this in some ways, it's an ideal environment. You've got a comfy chair, it's kind of soundproofed. You can turn everything off. You can even literally lock all the doors.
I do that.
Excellent. So this is it. You found your ideal writing environment in your car. Are you working on laptop or are you writing by hand?
No, working on a laptop.
Right. Cool. Okay. That's great. It's amazing you found this, because we say to this people, try and find a time in the day. And obviously we say a lot of the time, because it's just the way that me and Mr. D work, is we're early risers. We tend to write first thing in the morning. Obviously never easy when you've got a family, and never easy in lockdown if you're having to educate them at home or whatever. But that thing of finding do you ever get tempted during lockdown just to sneak out to the car and sit in the drive?
Well, we're heading into lockdown again, so I'm trying to figure. I don't want to lose the momentum heading into the new year, so I'm just wondering what I can get away with. Like see if I can go grab coffees for everybody and be gone for like 40 minutes. Yeah.
Good luck with that. I wish you luck. What? Now you're writing a story every week. That's incredible productivity. What effect has it had on your writing? Are you feeling that you're improving as a writer?
Yeah, like in the beginning, like there's been lots of time this year where I actually felt like just stopping writing altogether and quitting and just like enjoying other people's stories. Because again, like the weekly grind of trying to publish something every week was, it was too much for me. And it actually hasn't been until the last like 2 months where I really feel like I've hit my groove and I'm more comfortable and less self-conscious as a writer. And like, I couldn't even imagine quitting writing now. Like I'm going full tilt into this now.
You've broken through the sound barrier, the writing barrier. I mean, it's interesting you say you're less self-conscious as a writer. That's a really important milestone, isn't it? Because that's essentially where you find your voice, I think, where you just think, okay, I'm not trying to pretend to be anyone else. This is me. Is that the feeling that you have when you're writing now?
Yeah, 100%. And I don't know if you remember, like I hit my head and suffered a severe concussion back at like 3-4 years ago. And so like it was after I had started writing and listened to you guys and I had written my first manuscript. And so like I couldn't even read and write during that time. So it was just like a focus on getting back. And I think I had learned some bad habits when I was getting back to things, because one of the short stories, Denial 2, that I have coming up, there was one that I had written before the concussion. And so I reread that and I was like, oh my God, I wrote that? Like, I can't even believe that, because all the things that I was like trying to fix in my writing, I didn't do in that first one. So it was, so yeah, like, I think I refound my voice, and I'm much, much stronger at having gone through all the, like, the writing process of editing all these different works.
Wow. So would you say that writing has kind of been helping you rediscover yourself, rediscover that voice you had before then?
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's helped, rediscover and like redefine myself too, because I've done a lot of kind of soul searching since that time, and try and move myself forward, because going through that really, it was awful, and there was nothing I could do with like a head injury like that. It's just time to heal. And so I was like, if I could never write again, like, I wasted so much time just like not writing and doing other things. And I don't want to do that again, because I don't know what's, with COVID and 2020, great example, like, you don't know what's coming around the corner. So just, I just want to do the best that I can so I don't have those regrets.
What are your writing dreams? Finishing that book, quitting the day job, becoming a best-selling author? Well, over 4 years, we've studied the advice of over 300 best-selling authors who've collectively sold over 500 million books. And we are excited to announce the Bestseller Academy. If you're ready to take your writing to the next level with accountability, craft, and coaching, your bestseller dreams are now only a click away. To find out more and apply, visit bestsellerexperiment.com/academy. That's bestsellerexperiment.com/academy.
You mentioned your wife briefly there, who I can imagine standing over you, as you said, we're not doing XYZ until you get your word count for the day. We talk about having an accountability partner on the podcast a lot. Is she your accountability partner?
Yeah, she very much is. And I was telling you yesterday during our one-on-one session that she has 2 collapsed discs in her neck. And so she was off work for some time and having a little trouble just sitting at home, because she's not a sit-at-home kind of person. And I kept saying to her, like, well, why don't you just start writing? Like, you might have some fun. And she'd never considered it before, but she wrote a romance novel in the time that she was off. And she wrote like 90,000 words in like 4 weeks or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, like she crushed whatever I could do ever. And so she's working on book 2 now. And I'm going through the first draft of her first book. So we're definitely making sure that we're both accountable 100%.
That's wonderful. Just fantastic. Now, on top of the 52 for 2020, which you're doing for your Patreon supporters, sorry, throwing stationery around at the moment. You also, at the time of recording, it's just a few days before Christmas, you're doing your 12 days of flash fiction, just to make life more difficult for yourself. Tell us about 12 days of flash fiction. How's that working for you?
It's, again, so much work. Even though there's small stories, it's just as much work as doing the rest of it. Like, I used to work in construction before I became a teacher. And like when we were tiling a small bathroom, it's actually more work than tiling like a great big huge room, because you have all the same cuts, the same corners and everything that you got to do. Just such in a small confined space is actually worse. And the smaller the story, the more work it is, because you have so much to get in there in such a small amount of words. But I mean, like, it's great. I'm having fun with it. My kids are my production crew. Like, we got like a little puppet elf in there for some of them. So like, we're having some fun with it over here.
Wonderful. And this is essentially, you're reading these on YouTube, and it's basically you're using it to, get material, not get content on YouTube, but also get followers on YouTube. So you have just to increase your reader base. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Like, one of my goals for 2021 is going to be to increase my social media presence a little bit. And so I have, I've been working on some graphics and I got a theme song that I'm going to be using that is amazing, that I'm going to be debuting in the next week or so. And it's all just kind of push things forward, even though it is more work and it is like very stressful. Like the Patreon thing and the YouTube, I just envision as like, when my books are out and I have like a fan base of people reading my books, these are the kinds of things that I'm going to be able to share with them to keep them engaged. And like, at the end of the year, I'm going to have an anthology of stories written over the year that I'll be able to release. So it's just content that if I can nail down my processes and systems so that I don't have to like kill myself every week and every day to get them out, that I'm hoping should make it easier to attract people, because I just want to tell entertaining stories to people. I just want to make people feel like I did, like reading Back to Reality, End of Magic, watching the second season of Mandalorian, no spoilers, but it's just like, I love that feeling that great stories give you. And that's what I want to give back to my readers.
Fantastic. Well, we can, where are we? Where's it gone? A is for Apple. We can already read one of your stories. Oh, here it is. As in this anthology, which was put together by one of your fellow academics, Robin Sarti. Tell us how this came about and the story that you wrote for that. So grateful for Robin for putting that anthology together, first of all, because like she announced it in the BXP group, and I was like, oh, this is something that I want to do, because getting my stories out to different anthologies and publications, is, again, one of the goals of mine. And so she said this, and I immediately knew what I wanted to do, that I wanted to set the story of Snow White in that space when she was sleeping. And I wanted to make her the hero of her own story, rather than be just have things happen around her by the men that have kind of come into her life. And so that's what that story is. And I wrote one of my favorite characters in that book, Pelly, or in that story. Pelly is just like 100% my favorite character I've ever written. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, folks, there are more stories like this in A is for Apple. Great anthology, really, really good fun, really inventive stuff. Well, you've had an amazing 2020 for writing, Joe. That's an incredible achievement. 52 stories in 1 year, which is just astonishing. 12 days of flash fiction. And you've signed up to the Academy as well. How are you finding the Academy?
I'm loving the Academy. Like I said, there are points where I felt like I was, stressed week to week, where I felt like I didn't know where, like, the road that I was going to go on. And signing up to the Academy helped me, and has helped me kind of peg down those goals, even though I've kind of fallen short and I don't have my first novel written or even started yet. But I'm on the right track thanks to the one-on-one session with you yesterday. But it's helped me, like, first and foremost, it helped me focus my goals. And I focused, if I'm going to write the novel, I need to get all these short stories out of the way. And so by the beginning of November, I think I had most of them written and scheduled to publish. And the courses themselves, like, I've learned so much, just as I have with you on the one-on-one session, and like using you as an editor, I've learned so much from your understanding of storytelling and what it goes into making a good story. And it just so grateful. And one of my goals for 2021 is engaging more, because with everything going on in my life, I haven't engaged in the group too much. But there are so many great people involved there that, I want to lend what I know to them a little bit. And I'd like to learn from them as well.
Yeah. I mean, that is the Academy's greatest strength, is there's such a great bunch of people there already. Yeah. And they're all committed. They're all determined to make something of their writing and get their voices heard. So that's just amazing. Where can we find you, Josh? Online, on social media? Where are you?
Yeah, so I am J.W. Atkinson author almost everywhere. I think there's a U missing in Twitter, because it's a little, when I rebranded myself, Twitter was the last thing that I made, and the handle's just a little bit shorter. Or you can find me on patreon.com/JW Atkinson author.
Cool stuff. We'll put links below for those folks so you can find Josh. Josh, thank you so much for this. Just astonishing stuff, and best of luck with the Academy, and hope to speak to you again soon. And I want to read your novel within the next 12 months.
Done. It's before March. Done.